Can you name a school where it's been confirmed that there are litter boxes being provided to students?
For this purpose, no, I cannot.
My concern is that instead of holding a hearing about student mental health, instead of holding a hearing about school closures across Texas, we are spending precious legislative time toward the end of this legislative session on a bill called the Furries Act. And honestly, Representative Gerdes, this whole thing is just weird and honestly a little creepy.
Weird and creepy. And this is your tax dollars at work. After MAGA's repeated attempts to spread debunked lies about children using litter boxes in schools, progressive Texas State Rep James Talarico was able to finally get them to admit they have zero proof about this entire thing. So that is weird. It's not just lying, it's what you're lying about and making up. It's creepy. Jen, do you consider this a win for the progressive movement?
I don't know that I'd go that far. Okay, but look, this is what I'm asking of everyone across the political spectrum. Just make note of who's telling the truth and who's lying. When you hear something absurd like, oh, Haitian immigrants are eating cats and dogs, can you just please double check? Like, really? And oh, the kids are dressing up as dogs and cats, and the school's letting them, and they're putting in litter boxes so the kids can poop in a litter box like a cat. Can you please double check? Just because someone on your side said something doesn't make it true. Like, this is just super elementary stuff, if you will, okay? But apparently we have to clarify that because, as Sharon's gonna explain to you, a state rep literally introduced this bill. Like, this is not some rando on social media. He's actually a state legislator. Sharon, tell us more about it.
How bored are you? Last month, Republican Texas State Rep Stan Gerdes submitted Texas House Bill 4814, the forbidding unlawful representation of role-playing in education, or Furries Act. If passed into law, Texas House Bill 4814 would prohibit any non-human behavior by a student, including presenting himself or herself on days other than exempt days as anything other than a human being. The only exemptions are for school mascots, school dress-up days, and Halloween. Examples of non-human behavior given include using a litter box, wearing leashes, collars, false tails, barking, meowing, hissing, or other animal noises that are not human speech, and licking oneself or others for the purpose of grooming. Did we double check this one? I know the team is a crack production team. This is a real
this episode. It's all good.
It's real though. We're really serious here. In a statement at the time, Gerdes said this: "I can't believe we have to do this, but we cannot allow these types of role-playing distractions to affect our students who are trying to learn, or our teachers and administrators who are trying to teach. We just have to keep this nonsense out of our schools." I fully expect subculture to show up in full furry vengeance at the committee hearing, but just to be clear, they won't be getting any litter boxes in the Texas Capitol. They'll have to use the regular restrooms like the humans they are. Well, the subculture didn't show up, but James Talarico did, and he completely shut Gerdes and the BS down.
Students are using litter boxes?
Well, what we do with this bill is we prevent that from happening, but what we don't take out.
Can you name a school where it has been confirmed that students are using litter boxes? This was at the top of your press release. This was mentioned when you introduced this bill, created quite a stir. So I'm asking, can you name a school where it's been confirmed that there are litter boxes being provided to students?
For this purpose, no, I cannot.
Your tweet about this bill was flagged by the app itself under their community notes. And their fact check said, sensationalist claims about furries literally behaving as animals and receiving accommodations such as litter boxes have been repeatedly debunked as hoaxes. Is that correct?
It was flagged on, what is it, community notes?
Okay.
This is so ignorant. Obviously, Gerdes wasn't the one that started the rumors. He's complicit, though, in feeding into the narrative, like Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who Talarico also brought up.
Are you aware that Governor Abbott said, quote, kids go to school dressed up as cats with litter boxes in their classrooms?
Sure.
Are you also aware that when the governor was asked by the Dallas Morning News to name a single school where this happened, he couldn't? And PolitiFact called this a pants on fire false claim started by online rumors?
Okay.
Do you think it's a good use of our time to write laws based on debunked internet conspiracy theories?
Well, this isn't, this piece of legislation before us covers that among other things that are true.
So he's admitting, wow. We do need to hear one last thing from Talarico because he explains what the actual purpose of this bill is.
We are spending precious legislative time toward the end of this legislative session on a bill called the Furries Act. And honestly, Representative Gerdes, this whole thing is just weird and honestly a little creepy. And I think that's the point, because this is all, in my opinion, a manufactured, debunked smear campaign against our Texas public schools. Governor Abbott has used this litter box rumor to paint our schools in the worst possible light. He even used the litter box conspiracy theory to push his private school voucher bill. These culture war attacks are nothing more than an effort to discredit our public schools to justify defunding those public schools. Texas librarians are not grooming kids. Texas teachers are not indoctrinating kids, and Texas schools are not providing litter boxes. And I think the most disappointing part about all this is I think you know that.
Governor Abbott is a supporter of school choice programs that would give parents greater control over which schools their children attend. Advocates claim this would increase parental choice and that the competition would boost academic performance, while critics claim it will funnel money to less regulated schools, some of which are run by Abbott's political allies. So Governor Abbott has been pledging to implement a private school voucher program as an attempt to overhaul the Texas education system. I just don't know how much more outlandish it can get. And Talarico there, the representative, had to be so serious. It is a serious issue, but it's right up there with they're eating the dogs, they're eating the pets. It's right up there, and it wastes precious time, resources, and everything else while it gets some people, enough people riled up, Jay.
I mean, remember, we elected the guy who said they were eating cats and dogs. I mean, that was mental. True. And people were like, yeah, all right, let's vote for that guy. So the things that struck me on this, I mean, aside from everything, is he wrote in the bill, as Sharon read to you earlier, that it's prohibited to lick oneself or others for the purpose of grooming. That's what I think Talarico is saying about this is weird and creepy. Brother, it doesn't even exist, but you're putting like these salacious parts in the bill. And I wonder when he realized that it didn't exist. Did he realize it before he started writing the bill and he's putting all these imaginary, crazy, things, and then it feels like kind of like a fetish, but he's putting it on the kids. It's like gross, right? Or did he realize afterwards and thought, who cares? I'm a Republican and I'm a politician. I just lie all the time. So I'll just do this fake bill on a fake thing. And then if they ask me about it, I'll just say, yeah, so what? None of it is true. What are you gonna do about it? There are other things in the bill that might be true. That was his amazing answer there. He said, I can't believe we have to do this. Yeah, well, if you couldn't believe it, you might have wanted to double check. Was there anyone on his staff said, okay, look, State Representative Gerdes, we love what you're doing, and it's, the tax cuts for the rich is great, and we should just rob the average person in Texas and give it to all your donors. And that's a great idea. But on the furries bill, like, hey, we double check. So there's no one in the office. Or they all got together and they're like, what is the most outlandish lie that we can come up with? Because guys, I think that part of this is just insulting their own voters. So because this isn't aimed at Democrats. Democrats don't believe this and certainly not gonna win over any votes with this, right? So this is them saying, we think our base is super dumb. So if we just lie to them, even with the most outrageous crap, they'll just believe it. So let's just trick our own voters because we have no respect for them at all and see what happens. That's my theory on it. Jackson, what do you think?
And you could tell the whole time that the rep that was being questioned knew it was BS. You could tell just by his lack of confidence in how he was speaking. He felt embarrassed. He knew it was stupid because nobody else in the room was buying it or going along with it. So yeah, you're absolutely right. They think that their base will eat up anything, and they think that they don't have to give their base anything serious. And in a lot of ways, well, up until recently, they haven't. But as we talked about earlier, as the economy continues to crash, ain't nobody gonna care about listening to litter boxes. People gonna care about, I've been eating beans and ramen for the last 3 months and I'm tired of it. So, that's really what's on the horizon.
Yep.
Yeah. I also think that he was energized, this Republican lapdog that Greg Abbott was, retweeting or whatever, and kind of really said, "Oh, the attaboy." But he was so unprepared. And how do you prepare for this furry litter box grooming lie? But if you're gonna pen a bill, then really pull out all the stops. But that just goes to show you that other than Talarico here, Representative, no one, not in his office, not on his side, not on even people who didn't want to co-sponsor the bill, no one's challenging this guy. So he just showed up with, I don't even know why he was looking through that folder. It probably didn't have anything to do with the litter box, the furry bill. He just figured, I'll just show up and I don't even have to prepare to defend myself for the stunt, because no one's really pushing back hard enough.
Yeah. If I was a Republican, I'd be super embarrassed that these are my representatives. And look, guys, we're fair. So if you're new to the Young Turks, we also called BS on Biden and his mental state, right? So we do something crazy in American media. We actually call out BS on all sides. And so I don't know if as a country, we're gonna get to a point where more people are allowed to do what we do, where we say, okay, yeah, that's a politician on my side, but he's full of crap about that in particular, right? Or if we're gonna just stay in a country that forever and ever where Republicans go, yeah, there are kids as furries and there are litter boxes and people are eating cats and dogs and Donald Trump won the 2020 election and whatever other lunatic thing I just came up with, and as long as a politician on my side says it, I'm gonna believe it no matter what. The whole country has to snap out of that, okay? Because right now we're just going to oblivion with politicians that are insulting us to our face. They're all coming and going, we think you're dumb, so we're gonna say the most outrageous crap we could think of, and you'll still believe it because of tribalism. Because I called myself a Republican or I called myself a Democrat. Okay, now believe it. And unfortunately, way too many voters go, I believe it. I believe that there are furries and that they are being eaten by the Haitians. I will now vote that way. All right, brothers and sisters, but I think you should have some self-respect. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.